This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
The following program is rated MALSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, it doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, yeah, baby. It surely does not matter who the host is. Today is Friday, April the 3rd, day 94 of the year, and only 272 more days to go before the end of the year 2020. So hopefully when we're at this point sometime next year, we'll be able to look back and think about how glorious of a time we had during 2020. Anyways, how are you doing today? This is the Rated R Safety Show. You are listening to us live if you're on one of our streaming platforms, or if you're listening to us on safetyfm.com, or you could potentially be listening to us on delay via podcast, and that's perfectly fine as well, depending as long as you want to take a listen to what we have going on, because that's the important part. Anyways, how has it been over the last 24 hours since we've last talked? Really 23 and change, but who's counting? So how are things? Have things gotten better, improved, gotten worse in your neck of the woods? Ever since we last spoke, there has been a lockdown. Oh yeah, you heard me correctly, a lockdown in the good old state of Florida. So what does that mean exactly? As of 12:01 this morning, or 11:59, depending on which news stories you read, you cannot go out until April the 30th, unless it's essential business. Essential things that you have to get accomplished in the glorious state of Florida. So that's pretty interesting. They had actually closed the county that I'm in for about a week ago, give or take. And then now they have actually done it as a state ordinance. So yeah, we're actually locked up. And I actually have snuck out to the studio, so I'm in the studio right now. Yep. You got it. Anyway, so before I start getting into my mess for the day, let's get you started with the feature story news. Our lovely little partners, they're always sharing some information with us. So let's go that angle.
Bringing you information you never knew you cared about. Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in Washington, I'm Simon Marks. Spain has now surpassed Italy to become the second worst impacted country by coronavirus after the United States. The death toll there has topped 10,000. Italian authorities say the situation in their country is slightly improving. FSN's Europe correspondent Lucy Hoff with the latest.
The numbers keep mounting in Spain, which has now overtaken Italy in the number of COVID-19 cases, with 932 deaths reported on Friday. Hospitals are inundated, particularly around Madrid, with medics reporting severe shortages of specialist protective equipment. Despite another grim death toll in Italy on Thursday, officials say the rate of infection is continuing to slow. Pressure is easing off, particularly in hospitals in the Lombardy North, where the outbreak began, with record numbers of people recovering from the disease. Lucy Hoff, Brussels.
The mayor of New York is warning that the city is facing D-Day on Sunday as the number of coronavirus cases spirals upwards in the city. FSN's Will Denzelo is there.
Bill de Blasio has issued a stark warning that if medical supplies begin to run out in the city, hundreds, if not thousands of people will die.
I say to the President of the United States, I say to the Pentagon over a week ago, 1,000 nurses, 150 doctors, 300 respiratory therapists for the nation's largest city, 8.6 million people. You'd think in a country this big, this strong, that would be an easy request to fill. And I'm still waiting.
He warns this could begin to happen on Sunday, and the state's Governor Andrew Cuomo has suggested ventilators may begin to run out early next week, based on current trajectories. In a bid to slow the spread of infections, the mayor is urging all residents in the city to cover their faces when leaving the house, even if it's with a scarf or bandana. William Denzelo, New York.
In the UK, another grim record, 684 deaths in 24 hours. Queen Elizabeth II will address the nation about coronavirus on Sunday. Prime Minister Boris Johnson says he's going to remain in isolation for the moment because of high temperatures brought on by COVID-19. But in Germany, Chancellor Angela Merkel has returned to work after multiple tests showed she is negative for coronavirus. There were astonishing scenes in Guam today where Brett Crozier, the commanding officer of the USS Theodore Roosevelt, was applauded as he left the nuclear-powered aircraft carrier for the last time. He's been relieved of his duties by the Pentagon after leaking a letter in which he pleaded with Navy authorities to help his crew stranded in the Pacific on board the ship as coronavirus coursed through it. There is widespread shock in Washington at Defense Secretary Mark Esper's handling of the situation. From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Oh, yeah. You know how it goes around here. That is what we have going on, as you can hear everything that's going on inside of the world here. So what are you thinking as you listen to some of this news? I know this is what's bombarding all across the board. You're seeing this day in and day out, so I'm not telling you anything exquisite that you have not heard before. So at the Rated R Safety Show, we have decided to do a couple things today. We have made an announcement last night on our exclusive list. We made an announcement on one of our other shows this morning. So let's go ahead and talk about it right now before we go into our little news segment. We will be giving away 10 ads. So what does that mean? That means exactly that. We're going to take 10 ads. Let me explain what do I mean here. We are going to do 10 drawings, preferably 2 a day is probably the way that it's going to work out, where we want to take the people that enter this contest, and we'll take 2 ads a day, and during this show, we will actually produce and actually have these 2 ads on where we can feature your product. And now that I'm trying to make money off of this or anything along those lines, what I'm trying to do is actually help promote what you got going on. A lot of us need as much stuff that we can at the moment in regards to being able to try to help out. So if you do have a service that you would like for me to produce an ad, make that kind of fun stuff, and have that go out there to our audience, that's what we're going to do. Audience members, please understand that as I do this, is we're doing this as a service to be able to help the general community out there. And it's just the sake of ads for ads to help promote your business. And what we're looking to do is anywhere between 30 to 60 second the ad, somewhere around there, have that go out and be able to help and promote some of the stuff that you're doing that people might not be aware about. Just trying to do our part here to see what we can do and to help. So if you go to safetyfm.com/contest, that's safetyfm.com/contest, you can enter in right there. It gives you the opportunity to do several entries by doing some different things. Also, you can actually enter in daily, which is the other part there as well. So that's kind of some fun stuff, just to be able to assist out. And we will give you copies of the ad. That way you can actually have it and use it at your leisure. So for whatever that's worth, just quote unquote there. Anyway, so let's get you kind of started with my nonsense and go into, our version of what the news should normally sound like. I think. Maybe. I don't know.
Listen to our host of the Rated R Safety Show self-implode on our airwaves, only on Safety FM. Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
So, taking it from the top, as we always try to do, the Ramsden poll indicates that 67% of Americans would be okay with a ban of all out-of-state travelers except emergencies until the coronavirus start is passed. Another 68 are in favor of handling out fines for those who are in violations of social distancing measures. So think about that real quick. 67% of Americans, according to this little poll here, are saying that they're perfectly fine if someone does not come into your state that's not from your state. Now, let's kind of use an example here. What happens if you actually own homes in multiple states? Well, you're only going to have a license for one of the states, normally is the way that it works. So how would that work? Would that kind of put you, hey, you can't come in? Or do you have to show proof of ownership of land?
Duh.
I don't know. Something to think about. How are you looking at this? Do you think that people that are from state-specific areas should stay exactly in their states? I don't know. What is your thought process, my friends? I look at it and go, there's so many different ways to look at this. I mean, it's good, bad, or indifferent. I don't know. I just go with the flow, man. Talk about what comes to mind. Anyways, let's continue down the path. In 2006, NASA and the Europe Space Agency had a telescope that had detected a huge burst of X-rays. Yeah, X-rays, you heard me. At the time, they believed that it was a star that had gotten eaten by a wandering black hole. Yeah, you heard me correctly there. Now they think that they might have found the culprit. A distance in mind of boggling. Yeah, you hear me. It is located at the far end of the distant galaxy, inconceivable far away. Oh, here we go. From a recent observation, scientists theorize the black hole is about 50,000 times the mass of the sun. By comparison, the black hole is in the middle of the Milky Way and is 4 million times more massive than the sun. How the hell do you make those remarks from this little place that we're in?
Duh.
And come up with those determinations? I don't know. I'm just telling you what's there, man. I just look at it and say, hey, this is the information. This is what we got provided. And this is what we do. Oh, yeah, by the way, before I forget, because I see it pop up, thought you said something special was going to happen in 101. Well, we did have something special planned. Just didn't pan out. It's 2 days in a row of non-panning, man. I have to tell you, a lot of people right now are in that mode where they're not sure what the hell is going to happen next, so they are afraid of taking some risk. And that's perfectly fine. I understand that. Some people are freaking out with everything that's going on out there. I mean, when you're starting to take a look and you start talking about that potentially up to 32 million Americans could be losing their jobs, I can understand not taking some time to come up here and goof off on the Rated R Safety Show. It's not going to hurt my feelings. But also, like I tell people, if you drop out on me at the last moment, can't really do much about it. Can't really tell the audience, hey, by the way, Diddle D did not show up after they said they were going to. Just kind of the way that it happens. Anyways, get ready for the pink supermoon this April. It should be visible on April the 7th, appearing brighter than usual due to the orbit drawing is it as close as it comes to the Earth. The moon itself won't be pink. It's named the time of the year when it happens. And many pink plants and wildflowers start to bloom according to Old Farmer's Almanac. So what do you think? Do you think that pink moon thing is real? Or do you think it's a bunch of bullshit?
Duh.
I'm just asking a question. That's what I do here. I ask questions. Oh, no, this is not my interview show. So what are you thinking? Are you looking forward to some of these weird oddities? By the way, before I forget, because I keep on getting this a lot in the social media aspects, do you think that we should do a countrywide social distancing, which that's part of it, but also a lockdown in comparison? So do a combination of both things. And if so, how long do you think it should last? I'm telling you, there's certain states right now that are not doing it. They're giving you guidelines, but they're not enforcing them. So what do you think? Do you think something should be done? Do you think you should be forced to be locked down? It's a matter of opinion. Also, before I forget, if you are on Facebook watching us, we don't get the messages. You have to come to safetyfm.com/VOD. That's safetyfm.com/VOD. I don't know what's wrong with the system, man. I really would love to tell you, but I'm not 100% sure.
We are now video streaming the Rated R Safety Show. I don't know why our host has a face for radio. Rated R Safety Show.
Anyways, let's continue down the path. The economy could be on an upswing by the time everyone who would benefit from the economic stimulus package gets their checks. The CNN reports that direct payments won't begin until at least April the 13th and could take another 20 weeks for all of them to get out in the mail. The IRS estimates that 60 million payments will be made the week of April the 13th by direct deposit for those whose refunds were processed that way in 2018 or 2019. Those without such details will start receiving checks. You ready for this? On May the 4th. And no, I'm not going to turn around and say, May the 4th be with you, but holy shit, dude. May the 4th. There's people that are suffering now. And we're talking about May the 4th before they see anything. As we have discussed from time to time, the average American cannot actually normally recuperate off of a $400 emergency. They are not set up. Most of them live paycheck to paycheck. Not picking, just saying what financial statements and studies that I have seen in the past. Yeah, I have one of these really nerdy things that I do that I like to look into all these weird finance stuff. But the information does show that. And I'm not saying that that's currently your case. I'm not saying that's currently my case, but that's most people's cases. So that's something to think about. How do you feel if you fall into that category of May the 4th? How is that going to work? Is that something that's realistic for you to be able to make it? And don't get me wrong, I understand a lot of people are suffering, but what are you going to be able to do for the interim time? Anyways, this continues. News buzz in earlier days of the coronavirus pandemic that Harvey Weinstein was one of the first public figures to fall victim. Not so, his reps now say. Spokesman tells CBS New York that he was indeed tested, but it came back negative. Weinstein is isolated. Yeah, you heard me correctly. Is isolated in isolation at the Wendy Correctional Facility in New York. So what the freak is he actually isolated for? Is he isolated for a reason? Or is it just one of those things that he's in isolation for some odd reason altogether? I don't know. I just look at it and say, hey, some strange things happen. I try to understand them. I don't understand them all. But that's just the way that the case goes, man. Just what it is. How I look at it.
Duh.
Anyways, news buzz in earlier days of the coronavirus pandemic, which I've already read, and we already talked about this, but among the even the inadequate supply of ventilators, the NPR reports that most coronavirus patients will end up on a ventilator or go on to die. In one small study in the UK of 98 ventilated patients, only 33 were discharged alive. In China, 3 out of 22 ventilated patients walked out of the hospital. I know, I read some of this stuff and I give it to you live in real time of what we're getting. And yeah, I know. This is not what we want to hear. This is not the word of hope. This is not the word where people will go, hey, I'm going to be excited after this show based on the stuff that you are covering with me. No. There's some things that are going on that it is what's happening. And it's the reality side of the situation. And we want to hear the information. I want to share the information with you, opposed to it just being something that's closeted and not talked about. I know it's not easy. I know that as we have these discussions, more and more people go, well, this is not happy-go-lucky. Well, not everything at the moment is happy-go-lucky. Yeah, and I catch a lot of flack for it, and I understand.
Duh.
But I'm just trying to give you real information on what's going on. Let's continue. While the official numbers of worldwide coronavirus have passed now 1 million on Thursday, North Korean officials are holding firm that there is not a single case there. Yeah, you heard me correctly there. It shares a border with only 2 countries, China and South Korea, and its border to China has been shut since January. But at least one American military official says that it's bogus. General Robert Adam tells AFP, I can tell you that it is impossible to claim based on all of the intel that we have seen. So what do you think? Do you think that it's actually possible that North Korea has 0 cases? Now, of course, I've read some different things. I've read some things, but they're not vetted, so I don't know if I want to go too dark into it. Yeah, I said dark because it does go dark. So you have to be very careful on the information that I share there. Anyways, notoriously green-centric city San Francisco has banned reusable bags often used at grocery stores instead of plastic ones. Also, according to the ordinance, reusable mugs and cups designed to reduce paper and styrofoam use at places like coffee shops. So, here's what's going on. I saw this one as a news story a while back. You can't use reusable cups. You can't use reusable bags, and this is the case for the whole thing. That's what's going on. And they're saying, that the reusable stuff could be a little bit more contaminated, which is not environmentally friendly if you're using straight up plastic. But what do you do in these moments? I don't know. I keep on looking at it and I go, doesn't make sense on what we should and should not do. It's kind of like a weird spot at this particular moment. Now that Apple and Amazon are in the original programming game, yeah, you heard me, their competitive dynamic may be thawing instead of growing more heated. Seemingly without formal announcement from either platform, users now pay to download or rent movies and TV shows from Amazon Prime app using an Apple device. Users started reporting that switch after a recent app update. Previously, programs could only be streamed. Usually, Apple pockets 30% of all sales through its platforms, and it may have stuck more to a more agreeable one with Amazon. So I'm glad to see that some of these people are getting into bed together finally.
Duh.
Because, for the longest time, you could not get some of the Amazon shit on Apple, and that was okay. Now, a lot of people don't know this, but the platform that we're using right now, if you're using the video platform, which is Twitch, is owned by Amazon. Yeah, it's owned by Amazon. Did you know that? Some people didn't. It's a very good platform. I love it. I know a lot of people go, well, Jay, that's for gaming. Well, apparently not, because this is what I'm doing right now, and I'm not gaming. But that's okay. That's what I do. This is what I'm here for. Anyways, let's continue. After I take my cough break. Yeah, cough break.
You are listening to a Radio God. What? This has to be an error. That host is not a Radio God. Anyways, this is the Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Yeah, some people have told me I have to be careful with some of that because that might actually end up putting me in isolation for coughing, but that's why I'm locked up into this place by myself. That's the way that it goes. Anyways, let's continue. YouTube is gearing up to get into the game against, TikTok. Insiders say that they're preparing preparing an app that's called Shorts that would feature short video content to rival TikTok platform, popular in high school and college age users for roughly edited video shorts. So that's who the target audience is going to be. TikTok's popularity among young population may be on of its own secret to success. Younger users have gravitated to the platform like TikTok because they're not likely to mind their very uncool parents or older siblings on the platform. Are you a TikTok user? What I'll tell you is I see a lot of people on TikTok. And there's quite a few, and of course, it's hard, people do the dance videos and all that. But what drives me crazy about TikTok is, if I'm going to TikTok, I know what I'm going to see. If I go to LinkedIn, why is your TikTok video there? And yeah, this might make me sound a little old, but I can tell you when I go to LinkedIn, I'm not going for your dance videos. It's okay to post stuff, but man, your little dance videos on TikTok, and I know this is going to get me swarmed with some shit, because that's what happens when I start talking, and that's just kind of the way that it goes. Anyways, let's continue down the path here. Okay, so let's talk about the lottery, because I tend to just open my big mouth about the lottery all the time. No winner for Tuesday's night Mega Million drawing. Tonight's drawing will be for a $121 million jackpot or $96.7 million cash payout. My question to you is, if you win it, can you go pick it up? Is there anybody there? Not being a punk, I'm just asking a question. No winner for Wednesday's night's Powerball drawing either. Saturday's drawing will be for a $180 million jackpot or $144.8 million cash payout. Something else to look at. Very interesting times. Did you hear this one? I don't know if you're kind of big into this, but if you're familiar with Lindsay Lohan, Lindsay Lohan, the 33-year-old shared an 18-second clip of her new song, Back to Me, on her social media accounts. People lost their mind over this. I didn't even know that she was still a big thing. I didn't even think anybody would move on that. The pop track scheduled to be released today is her first official single, are you ready for this? In 12 years. Along with a soundbite Lohan wrote, the song is about rediscovering, accepting oneself, shutting out the noise and moving forward and letting the past go. Living in the now. Oh yeah, living in the now. Well, shit, I don't know what your living in the now looks like, but I'm pretty much locked up. Sorry, just the case of what's going on.
Duh.
But realistically, now, if you're watching me on the camera feed, we're going to do this close-up thing. The only thing that we can do right now is control our reactions. There's a lot of things that are not within your control. You can only control what you have going from your perspective. Your reaction will have a bigger determination than anything else. I will tell you, as of recent, I have been involved in what I will deem a lot of emotional conversations. And you have to understand that you have to take emotions out of these conversations during this time. And don't be easily offended by some of the things that are happening. We are all still adults, unless you're taking a listen to this and you're not supposed to be. But we are all still adults. And there are some matters that are going out there in the world that we cannot control. But there's also some other matters that you and I discuss on a daily basis, or most of us discuss on a daily basis, that we have to be able to react to. And our reactions will determine how things move forward. And yeah, I know I'm saying some stuff there that some people could be easily offended by.
Duh.
And that's okay. But I want you to look at me and go, do not have an emotional reaction when it comes to certain things that are going on currently in this segment of life. This includes personal relationships. This includes business relationships. This includes business decisions. Because it is easily time to go, well, I can't believe that mother did this to me right now. I can't believe this lady did that to me. Your reaction will determine how things move forward. You know, does it suck to be locked up? Matter of opinion. Some people have wanted for years for the weekend to be long. Well, this could be a versionality of the weekend. No hitting, no bars, though. But the other standpoint that you can take a look at relatively quick. This could be a lot worse. Remember, where most of us are still staying in our house, we have a roof over our head during these times. And I'm not trying to get preachy because I can turn around and do that relatively quick as well. So I look at this and I go, where do we go from here? And I don't really think that decision can be made at this moment. There's going to be some hard times going forward. There's going to be some things that are going to occur that from a personal level, we might not like. From a business level, we might hate. And I'll tell you, I interact with quite a few people on a daily fashion. Not all of it in person, of course, as you can imagine. And there are some people that are out there right now that they're considered essential workers. Some of them are considered essential workers where they're not doing something that's essential, according to them. But if your options at the moment are having work or not having work, I think having the work is kind of a better play. And I know that this is rough times for a lot of people. And believe me, I'm not saying any different for myself. I look at it and I go, this is the best out of a worst case scenario of what's going on. So I don't know. I look at it and I go, there's a lot of things going on. Anyways, I know yesterday we were having a conversation. We talked a little bit about everything that's going on. And people liked, which I was amazed about, that during our little safety show, we talked about some of the entertainment news. And I thought, I didn't think that would be important. So we're going to cover some of that. But I want to do something else first. Over the last few weeks, we've been doing some weird things where we've been doing the 30-second countdown on Fridays especially. So today being Friday, I want to give you that opportunity once again. I want you to take up all that pent-up anger, all that frustration that you've had over the week. And I want you to take 30 seconds, and I'll show you a little clock here in a moment, to get that all out of your system. And maybe I can do it different, opposed to me actually, I don't even know if I can bring it up. Oh, that's going to give me a full 10 minutes. We don't want to do that. So I'm going to show you a clock. I'm going to hold up a clock. Well, I'm going to hold up my iPad. It's going to have an app on there. And I want you to take 30 seconds and just go for it. Go for it, go for it, go for it. Let me flip this over. And so right there, here's my 30 seconds if you're watching on the video stream. And we're going to start this off. And I want you to just get out all your pent-up anger in the next 30 seconds. And here we go in 3, 2, and 1. And that is time, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you were able to take those 30 seconds, get it all out of your system the way that you needed to. It's been a very frustrating time for some. And like I was saying, the only thing that we can control is our reactions. And that's 100% for sure. Anyways, let me continue going down a little bit of this information here that some people cared about. Chris Cuomo went into graphic detail about his coronavirus symptoms during the Wednesday's night broadcast of the CNN show. Yeah, that's the governor's brother, just in case. The anchor who was shooting the show from his basement re-encountered for viewers his sleepless and feverish night. He also said that the virus came at me. I have never seen anything like this before. I have never experienced any kind of fever like that I was having fever like what I was going to all the time to have in body aches and the tremors and concerns that are not being able to do anything about it. Cuomo urged viewers to take the pandemic serious. Now, I'm going to tell you, some people are turning around and going, well, he's part of the media. You have to understand he's part of the media. So maybe it's not true. Well, I don't know. I'm just telling you what the dude said that he was going through.
Duh.
Take a look at it that way. Dolly Parton has announced that she will be making generous donations to Vanderbilt University to help further the research of the coronavirus. Parton took to Twitter to share the news in writing. I am making a donation of $1 million to the Vanderbilt towards the research of they encourage people can afford to please encourage people to make a donation if they can afford to. Reese Witherspoon is donating 250 dresses of her Draper James fashion line to teachers across the United States. The actress released a statement about her gesture and thanking educators for all the hard work that they've been doing during the coronavirus pandemic. A former producer of Netflix Tiger King is spilling the behind-the-scenes details. Oh yeah, Rick Kirkham is what it seems like, claims that the star of the series, Joe Exotic, once shot a horse and fed it to the tigers. Kirkham has said that a woman came to the ranch with a horse she could no longer take care of, asking Joe if he could give it a good home. Joe said that he would, but according to Kirkham, before the woman had even exited the place, Joe took his revolver and shot the horse in the head, then cut it up and fed it into the tigers. The producers did not comment on when the alleged incident took place or if there's any other witness of the shooting. Interesting. Huh? Very interesting. Nick Cordio. Nick Cordio? Yeah, is in ICU. The former Waitress star has been hospitalized after that he may have been misdiagnosed with coronavirus infection. His wife, Amanda Klutz, took to Instagram to update fans about the situation. She wrote that Nick has been sick for a while with what we were told that was pneumonia. Unfortunately, we think he was misdiagnosed and we are waiting to hear back if he has, in fact, COVID-19. At this time of her writing, she said that her husband was unconscious so his body could get enough oxygen. She also told followers that she and a couple of 9-month-old sons are feeling fine. Yeah, some people are releasing some albums today, which I think is interesting. John Mayer has no plans to read ex-girlfriend Jessica Simpson's memoir, an open book. The singer told Andy Cohen that he heard about the claims that he was obsessive and that their relation was unhealthy and manipulative, but still doesn't feel the need to read it for himself because he lived it. Mayer quoted Pee Wee Herman telling Cohen, "I don't have to watch it. I lived it." Didn't even know that was a Pee Wee Herman quote whatsoever. Anyways, the New England Patriots are helping combat coronavirus. According to the Wall Street Journal, earlier this week, the team sent a jet to China to pick up 1.2 million N95 masks for medical workers to safeguard them with the fight against the virus. So that's good that they were doing that. I know a lot of people don't love the Patriots, but I guess that's something to look at. Something good that they're doing. I mean, nothing against the Patriots. I used to like the Patriots. I thought they were pretty good when I used to watch football. Really? Okay, let me tell you the truth. I really like Gisele Bündchen, but I can't really be a fan of Gisele Bündchen without it seeming strange. So Tom Brady was the next best thing, like the husband. I don't know. So anyways, that's what we have going on today here on the Rated R Safety Show. Let me kind of reference this one more time. Go to safetyfm.com/contest. We're giving away 10 free ads. We're going to produce the ads. We're going to air the ads. That way you actually have them available to you if that's something that you're interested in doing. So we're going to do 10 drawings for them. We're going to possibly release 2 a day. So the quicker you enter, the better it goes, the more opportunities you get to enter because you can enter in daily. That's the good part. Cool part. Fun part. Things to do. Anyways, I appreciate you being the best part of Safety FM, and that's the listener. If there is anything that I can do in the interim time, please come by safetyfm.com. Go to the bot, leave some information, see what we can do, and we can move forward. I know that this is some tough times, but I do appreciate everything that you guys are doing. Oh, before I forget, the email that I expected to receive yesterday that was supposed to be 24 hours later, I never got it. I'm a little disappointed. If you heard yesterday's episode, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Anyways, appreciate everything you do. I'm going to let you go. I know who you are. You know who I am. Love you. Mean it. Bye.
Duh.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.